Hi, welcome back to the Kenny Veach and M Cave mystery. Today we are focusing on the latest updates regarding Kenny Veach. Now, welcome if you're currently here in the live chat. I appreciate it. Feel free to share your own thoughts, opinions and reactions in the live chat as we do go along, okay? As of kind of recent, maybe a week or two ago, I did look back at the M Cave mystery hike aspect, taking a look at the mine shaft and how it's been altered with and changed with time. If you want to check that out as well after this video, I'll provide a link down below in the pinned comment section, okay? But more focused on Kenny today. So, yesterday or two, I reached out to Susan Veach. Susan Veach is a Veach-related family member who contacted me a while ago, like a year ago. And here and there, bits of information was shared and then passed on to spread awareness of the case of Kenny and the dark truth about it, right? So kind of like what you see to an extent with the likes of Doug from No Thanks receiving info and stuff from Candice Cooley. It's kind of like the situation here, right? So basically, when reaching out to Susan, she replied back with just getting through the holidays, obviously, you know, all kinds of things going on, which is understandable. But she did say that there was some strange activity which occurred around Kenny Veach's birthday. I believe that's sometime in November, right? So I think it's better and more authentic to share with you the screenshots as we talk along, as I explain it to you, and the possible ideas and theories that come about. But take in mind, what I'm about to show you is very, very creepy, considering Kenny Veach has been missing for over 8 years, and yet there has been activity on his Facebook account. Let's move on over now. So here's Susan's response. She said, "So something weird happened right around Kenny's birthday. It shows I missed a call from his Facebook Messenger account. So someone has access to his account." And, you know, I was surprised at the time because we've never seen this level of activity before, right? At most, we noticed it on Kenny's YouTube account, the playlist disappearing, but that was resolved in the end. As for other things, profile pictures on his account, his background remained the same. Still to this day, the only other questionable thing was that Kenny Veach had more hike footage on his channel, but it was deleted after he disappeared. That was the only other odd occurrence, which a fair few other people have mentioned now with time, but no one seems to have an answer. But now, with this, someone calling, you know, the question is, who's got access and why? Ultimately, it's either going to be Kenny Veach himself or the family, right? Now, some of you could be wondering, well, why would it be Kenny? He's missing. He's dead. Well, that's what some people assume and think. If you haven't already, there is CCTV footage of a break-in in 2018 which depicts a man that looks similar to Kenny Veach. If you want a full, you know, comparison, analysis and breakdown of all of that, feel free to check my playlist out as it's clearly stated there, CCTV footage caught on camera, right? So if we're tying that finding in previously and applying it now, it would make sense that Kenny gone missing with time, secretly elsewhere, and because it's his birthday around that time, you might feel the need to reach out to someone because he's been away for so long, not been in contact with people. Maybe he misses someone. You never know. As for the other concept of a family member being in excess of it, then that just makes it a little bit more weird and strange, considering the amount of time it's gone on for. Now, let me share with you from Susan's point of view from her own screenshot when she witnessed it. As you can see here, this is the Facebook Messenger app, right? kind of like other places like Instagram, I guess Telegram. Now you've got the different tabs. You've got the chat log, the call log, people, stories, etc. Right? Blurred out, well, not blurred out, but coloured in some names just out of respect of privacy, right? The main focus is on the unblanked name, and that's Kenny Veach right there. Let me just zoom in a bit more so you can visually see it. You can clearly see it says missed call. So someone or something would have been on Kenny's Facebook account, gone into the messenger part, and physically, purposely made a call to Susan directly, who is a Veach-related family member. So in a normal circumstance, a family member contacting another family member is very normal. But when one of the family members has gone missing and presumed likely dead, and then you get a call from them almost beyond the grave, that's when it becomes a bit creepy, right? Like, what is going on? As for the profile, you can see clearly it's of Kenny Veach. I don't know how much I can zoom in, to be fair, but that's of Kenny Veach, right? He's wearing his cowboy hat. He's got his jeans on. He's got that like saw in the background on the wall with some picture frames. This is Kenny's official Facebook account, which he's had since 2011, I believe, right? If you do want further proof, I guess we could try and get on the account later in this video, if possible. It depends if I've got access or not. If not, don't worry, because there are like previous videos and references back to Kenny's Facebook account in the past, right? And it was to do with Kenny talking about spirituality and how life on this world is very precious and sacred, etc. I analysed that as well, so you can always refer back to that too if you need to. So yeah, Kenny's Facebook account, missed call. Now, November the 22nd, 2022, right? I mean, it's kind of spooky, this, like, if you were anticipating the call, or if you just had your phone turned on at the time and you answered that call, what would have happened? That's the question. What if you answered that call? Who would be on the other end? Would it be Kenny, secretly trying to reveal something? Secretly trying to reach out where it's his birthday and he's like, hey, I've not seen you for a long time. I know this is going to sound a bit weird, but I kind of faked my disappearance and I am alive and I'm elsewhere living a new life. I just wanted to reach out to you just to let you know. Could it be that? Or could it be someone else trying to play psychological tricks, right? Because what we've got to understand, at the end of the day, only so many people have access to his account, right? I guess the only thing you could highlight and pick up on to maintain balance is maybe someone hacked Kenny's account, right? But then again, if someone hacked Kenny's account, they probably would have changed the profile picture, they probably would have updated his post and whatnot and stuff. Like how it's happened on other accounts on YouTube, leaving their own mark. I mean, even on YouTube, when people have created fake accounts of Snakebit McGee, they've tried uploading photos or videos to make it seem like Kenny is still alive. Though, on this occasion, that attempt has not been made, right? It's just been a simple, direct call to Susan. And I don't believe it's happened to anyone else within the family, which makes it a little bit more odd. Now, as for Susan Veach, she's not exactly an outsider, but in terms of opinion on the disappearance of Kenny, could differ from other family members who are either in denial, in on it, or just come to that acceptance that Kenny isn't coming back. And you can kind of understand it with, in 2021, during November the 28th, round about then is when the documentary came out about Kenny Veach, the Mojave Nightmare. And obviously different family members spoke. The daughter, Vicky Veach, the brother, who was younger, was Raymond Veach, the girlfriend, the supposed girlfriend, Sharon Pilgrim, right? And then also Susan Veach in the background giving her side. But obviously the way the documentary was constructed and done, it made Susan look crazy. It didn't include everything what she had to say. So it was done to suit a narrative, right? It was manipulated. So there's no harm in being on the lookout for the Dylan Rounds mystery documentary as well, just in case certain information is adapted and changed there as well, right? Because we have seen patterns with time, with different cases. No harm on being on the lookout for, right? But yeah, just a brief backstory of Susan. She has her own ideas. She's seen how things have gone. And with time, she has received info or picked up on stuff, reached out to people such as the search and rescue members or the police with time. And, you know, there's been some like developments, right, which have shaped the idea that Kenny is alive. And then with that CCTV footage coming in pretty hard, right, it's kind of constructed the possible inevitability of Kenny's disappearance, right? But it's about trying to prove it. It's about trying to gather intel and evidence along the way. You can have witness accounts, such as Sean Horlecker supposedly seeing Kenny homeless on the side of a road. But if you don't have photographic video evidence, what does it mean? Not much. So it's about spreading awareness on the Kenny Veach M-Cave case, keeping it alive for as long as possible, just like with the Dylan Rounds case, but also showing these moments of weirdness that can get very strange and dark, right? A missed call from an individual that's gone missing for over 8 years. That's weird, right? Do we have another screenshot? Yeah. So in addition to that event, Susan brought up that Hunter. Who is Hunter? Kenny's nephew, if I'm correct in saying. Kenny's nephew. And a brief backstory behind that, if you're not aware. Hunter Veach, in the past, right, before Kenny went missing, Kenny said to Hunter in a text message, and I have presented it in a previous video on my channel, it's all documented, that Kenny had a gift, a special surprise for Hunter, and he would give it to him when Kenny got back from his hike. So a promise was made. Kenny was looking forward to giving Hunter a surprise. So with that being in place and implemented, right, you'd expect Kenny to return back. You don't start making all these promises, right? And as for Kenny's passion, determination for hiking, but finding the M-Cave as well, he wouldn't just suddenly disappear like that in like a normal situation, right? Like succumb to the environment or like commit suicide, the main theory, because when you look back at Kenny and his behaviour, it just doesn't quite fit that idea. It's just because the girlfriend, Sharon Pilgrim, has stated that theory and then everyone's just tagged along with it like a bandwagon, sheep, without questioning. That's where the imbalance is at, right? And as well, as we know from what we've seen and heard, that Kenny Veach, although not taking his actual camera, which like he used in his MK video, he did take just like a camera just for taking photos. It didn't record videos, but it took photos. Why would a suicidal person take a camera? There'd be no point. If you're not returning back, there's no point taking photos because no one's going to see them. You're not going to share them with anyone. So it's just a waste of time. You get what I'm saying? And like with some items, the phone, the coins, why take them with you only to then dispose of them, right? Is it done as like to prove that you're out there, but you're not actually? Or is it done as like some kind of clue marker? These are the questions with time. It's simple as, if you're going to commit suicide, you're going to be zoned in on that. You're not going to be making lots of promises. You're not going to be saying this and that. You're not going to be taking items with you which are pointless. You're not going to be taking a phone with you. If you don't want to be found, then you're going to try and make sure no one knows where you are whatsoever, not even a brief hint of where you could be. But that's what Kenny did, right? With the items presented in the desert. So, you take that into mind. So that's just a brief backstory of Hunter, mainly through that text conversation. That present was going to be returned after the hike, which it never did. So Susan says that on Kenny's account, Hunter did post a picture of him on his birthday. He has not posted anything on that account for 8 years. But now that he saw the CCTV footage, I think he believes Kenny is monitoring his Facebook account. So that's a little bit spooky and creepy. That might just be the way it's worded, this message, but I'll try and make more sense of it just in case you're a bit confused. So Hunter, the nephew of Kenny, went on Kenny Veach's account and posted a picture of him, I assume of Hunter, right, on Kenny's birthday. Kenny has not posted anything on that account for 8 years because obviously he's been missing. But also it could apply to Hunter hasn't posted anything on Kenny's account for 8 years either, because what's the point? Kenny's missing. Normally, let's just be realistic. If a person dies under any circumstance or goes missing, the account of that person, tends to be left as it is. Could be resting in peace. Just left, not touched. What's the point? There's no need. If you start touching it and altering it and editing it, it makes it seem like the account is alive and so is the person, and then that leads to confusion, doesn't it? In some circumstances, if it's been down to a case of suicide, a very bad event, some kind of tragedy, often the accounts are deactivated, deleted, shut down. So there's no people commenting on the profile. There's no harassment, there's no disrespect, there's nothing like that. Just peacefully taking the account away because the soul of the person has left this earth, right? It's normal. But from this, and from what we've seen previously, despite Kenny being missing for over 8 years, Kenny's YouTube channel has still been up and running. It's not been shut down. It's not been touched. There are adverts on Kenny's video as well. They would have had to have been turned on in some way by someone, which is a bit weird. And the fact that Kenny's Facebook account has been publicly viewable, providing you've got an account, for over 8 years as well, though it's been inactive up to this point, November the 22nd. So really, on top of that phone call, right, someone having access, the person that made the phone call via the app, this one here, could it have been Hunter? Could it have been the nephew? The nephew who went on Kenny's account to upload a photo because it's Kenny's birthday, also made a call to Susan. That wouldn't make any sense, would it? What I will say to you right now, I feel that regardless of who did it, it kind of pushes the idea Kenny Veach is alive, right? And I can explain it right now. So you've got to look at it like this. Either A, Kenny Veach himself made the call for whatever reason, which would mean he's alive. And there's a screenshot of it, which proves Kenny's account made the call. So that would be straight to the point, right? But then the second option, which can still prove that Kenny is possibly alive, is another family member having access, of course, to Kenny's account. But the true explanation and reason behind it is unknown, really. Sure, you got the likes of Hunter, the nephew, going on Kenny's account, posting a photo. Why? In memory of Kenny? Possibly. Because it's his birthday, Kenny's birthday, a special occasion, right? You've seen it as tributes made on, other profiles with other missing people in memory. You upload a photo of someone from the past in memory of them, just like how Candice Cooley has done with Dylan Rounds, with all these photos being shared. Same could have happened in Hunter's mind. But as Susan said, this only really occurred, this change in behaviour, this action displayed, as well as other thoughts and mindsets changing and applying to other family members as well, with the whole CCTV footage event, right? After that CCTV footage, it being covered on YouTube for the first time ever by me, and then further analysed by Artari, then reanalysed much further by me, and so on. And then also originally shared on the GLP forum. Once it started receiving awareness and once family members heard of it, Susan did say that some of the family members did start changing how they were thinking. 1 minute talking about Kenny being dead, accepting it, then the next minute someone saying he is alive and that is him. But then afterwards, them changing their mind and saying, no, that's not him. No, not him at all. Why would you switch and change? And even like Vicky, at some point, the daughter, who believed Kenny Veach was alive and that she didn't want to say anything public because it might put Kenny in danger for some reason. But then when it came to the documentary, Vicky didn't say anything about the CCTV footage. No one did. So it's as if family members might be covering for Kenny, right? Now, we just returned back to the behaviour by Hunter. Okay, it's Kenny's birthday. So what? What's the big deal about it, right? Is it the 10th anniversary of Kenny going missing? No, because he's only been missing for 8 years. Is it the 5th anniversary of Kenny going missing? No, that's already passed. And what was done back then on his account? Nothing. So why 8 years in? Why not a year before or a year before that sign into Kenny's account and then upload a photo or something in memory of him? That's not been done. And why not make a public announcement that, hi, I am a Veach family member, I am uploading a photo in memory of Kenny, just to let you know so you don't think he's suddenly come back from the grave. Some kind of awareness, some kind of announcement, right? Look with Candice Cooley. Candice Cooley said to friends and family members that when they cloned Dylan's account or something, they were letting everyone else know so there was no confusion, right? So that it was done then, but it's not been done here. So that's kind of odd, right? And as said, it seems to be the turning point after the CCTV footage. After that, with some time to process and think it through, maybe Hunter has catched onto something, or he knows more than what other people do, or he's reached out to Kenny in some way. And now what? Is there a possibility that he's been ordered, instructed by Kenny, maybe, to keep the account alive, active, or to try and create some kind of inner mystery of, is he alive, is he not? Doing work on behalf of someone else, right? I mean, we've seen it in the past with levels of resistance and pushback where maybe certain family members or external individuals have acted in dark ways, done dark things, may have been threatening at times to push people away if they've got too close to solving the case, right? You never know. With DJ Moore heading out there on the hike, not really telling anyone, and yet some strange individual showed up, a woman, in the middle of the desert, picking flowers and parking directly behind DJ Moore's vehicle. A little bit creepy. Now, all the timing, all that could happen, and it happened on that day, and no one was informed that DJ Moore was heading out there on that day at that time. And then the likes of Sean Horlacher, who's experienced weird things with time, people knocking at his door, trying to take him out, people trying to set him up, people sabotaging his vehicle, which could have killed him, right? It's not exactly normal behaviour, that, is it? If a person's gone missing, it's simply trying to solve it and recover the individual, retrieve them, rescue them, whatever it may be the outcome. But due to the levels of resistance, crypticness, darkness, and all that, whether it be directly from family members or externally, and even switches and changes in behaviour from people within the family members and outside YouTubers, with all that going on, the switching and changing, the abruptness, it's like there must be more going on behind the scenes, right? And this is the other thing. If a family member tried calling Susan, why didn't they do it with their own account? Why be behind Kenny's account and pretend it's him? It's almost as if the family or certain family member is trying to play mind games, tricks on Susan. And if that was the case, then it makes it look even more suspicious that maybe certain family members of the Veach family are behind Kenny's disappearance or are in on Kenny's disappearance and trying to cause confusion, misdirection by making it seem as if Kenny's account is actually active, alive, but it's actually from Kenny himself when it's not. But Kenny is alive, but elsewhere, maybe off-grid, new identity, family are covering for him or have in the past, and maybe a resurgence is happening now. You see the different avenues you can go down, right? But I think what we can say, you got to take everything into mind, of course, to maintain balance. But visually speaking, from the photo presented, a genuine screenshot from Susan's point of view, from her, actual Facebook Messenger account and her message log, Kenny Veach's actual Facebook account manually made a call to Susan. Someone had to gain access, first of all, email, password, sign in. Then head on over to the Messenger app, which sometimes can redirect you to a separate app on your phone, right? And then what? Manually clicking and searching for Susan's name, because I'm sure Kenny had a range of different followers and friends. So scrolling through, if it's alphabetically, finding Susan, there we go, click. And then what? Reading through the messages, checking up on stuff, making sure Susan doesn't know too much, trying to confuse her, trying to trace back so there was no mistakes made, maybe deleting a few messages or attempting to as well, just in case there's any clues or hints left behind. Want to clean up on things. And then eventually, I'll just press that call button up there. And then it's never answered. And then it's like, oh well, I'll log out now. That's how it would have gone, right? Whoever it is that has access to Kenny's account at the time. That's how it would have gone. And it's like, is it really necessary, right? If under this circumstance and assuming that Kenny has naturally gone missing and that's it, and it's been accepted by majority of people, mainly the family, time's moved on, people moved on, why all of a sudden this weird semi-covert behaviour going on? What's the point of it, right? It just doesn't seem right. It's not that it will happen, but it's as strange as if someone had access to Kenny's YouTube account, went on it, then uploaded a hike video of Kenny, maybe it's from way back in the past, uploaded it, no questions, no answers, no announcement, nothing in the comment section, and left it like that. And then what? You find Kenny's account, you think, oh, a video's been uploaded recently. Wait, who uploaded that? Was that Kenny himself? Is he playing mind games? Is this one big game? Or are family members doing it themselves for some dark, twisted reason? You click on the video, you watch it through, and then it just, there's lots of questions in the comment section, but no answers whatsoever. That's not normal behaviour. What would be normal behaviour, right, is, we'll just use this example because it was a real one. Now, with Sharon Pilgrim, the supposed ex-girlfriend of Kenny Veach, she said herself in the past that she was planning on uploading, unreleased footage of Kenny. As you see on screen there, Kenny Veach, Snakebit McGee's additional M-Cave video. And she stated it publicly in the comment section and also in the past, just to spread awareness and to let people know. That was the right thing to do. Whether the girlfriend is corrupt or not, she did the right thing by letting general public know. Because if she didn't, it would have been more of a mystery and more misunderstandings. Don't you agree? So this is a big contrast to what we've seen and witnessed on the Facebook page. So let me know your thoughts down below, your opinions. What do you think about this? Do you think this is normal activity? That someone's been missing for 8 years and then suddenly you supposedly receive a call from them? Is that honestly normal? Do you think it proves that Kenny is in fact actually alive because of that call? Or do you think that it's just some kind of prank, but there could be a darker reason behind it? Let me know your thoughts. I mean, I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I'll just give you my quick rundown opinion that from the way it looks, it's activity on Kenny's profile. But maybe, yes, if you answered the call, you might find the true answer. But then again, there might have not been anyone answering or saying anything on the other end of the line. But regardless, it's strange, it's creepy, and there's been other cases in the past where missing people or people presumed dead have called someone, a loved one, a relative, a family member, a friend, whoever. It's happened before. So it could well in fact happen once again. But yeah, I hope you found this video interesting. Make sure to leave a comment down below and we'll see what happens next, because most likely there will be an update at some point and I will cover it, okay? Also take in mind, as far as the M Cave hike and the mystery around that environment goes in the desert, the Mojave one, there are still things to analyse there and look at when there is time, right? We're getting near Christmas, things start getting a little bit busy and, stuff going on. As for Dylan Rounds 2, things with that need to be looked at, and I'm sure there'll be developments in each area with time, right? Try and keep both alive as long as possible, and yeah, if something does come up, which it probably will, I'll do another video follow-up, right? So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Good night.